Welcome back, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. My name is Pritesh with Kaizen Crypto. Today, I'm joined by a special guest, Jack Ingram. So you may have seen him on YouTube. He's the content creator behind the Jack Ingram Crypto YouTube channel, as well as the Jack Stakepool operator. So Jack, thanks so much for joining today, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. Just chilling, and yeah, I'm excited to talk to Kaizen Crypto. I haven't talked to Kaizen before, so
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. I know we were just talking about it before we jumped on the call. It's amazing. It feels like we've known each other for a while, but here we are. This is the first time we're actually getting to talk.
yeah.
Well, yeah, man, looking forward to it. Just a couple questions about you. Really just want to find out more about what you've been up to. You've got a lot of projects that you've been working on. You've got your stake pool. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess to get things started, Jack, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so pretty much, if you guys don't know, I started a YouTube channel about cryptocurrency, mainly Cardano, about 4 months ago, I think it was. And since then, that channel's been going well. I started a stake pool, and now I'm working on my own NFT project and continuing to make YouTube videos pretty much just about Cardano. And I really like being involved in the community, and that's the gist of it, really.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've been watching your content. Always loved the Cardano friends vibe. Like I just
Yeah.
really enjoy the positivity that you put out in your content. I feel like you do add a lot of value, and it's amazing too because you're so passionate about it. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that really resonates with a lot of people in the community. It's like we're all here, we're all building, we're all here to support each other, and I definitely feel that in your videos.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess before you got involved with crypto, I mean, I guess could you tell us a little bit about what was Jack's life like before all this Cardano
Ooh.
craziness?
So it hasn't been that long that I've been in crypto. I think only maybe 6 months, not that long. People think I've been in crypto forever, but I'm still a noob in all honesty. But before cryptocurrencies, it was pretty much I was doing YouTube videos. I dropped out of college about 8, 9 months ago. So a couple months before I got into crypto, I dropped out of college to do YouTube full time on a different channel. And then crypto came around. I made a new channel and surpassed the original channel in I think 4 weeks. So I've just been rolling with
Wow.
Cardano and crypto, and that's something I've been really passionate about. So I've just been kind of going with it.
Yeah, YouTube's not the typical career path.
No, I like it though. I think I like it much better than the typical career path.
That's awesome. So what were you studying in college?
I was studying computer programming. I was there. I did do 2.2.5 years of computer programming, and then I decided to do I didn't want to do a career. I wanted to go for my own thing. Build something myself is what I thought.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm actually kind of in the similar boat. Going throughout high school, was working a whole bunch of jobs, always took a keen interest into investing and like passive income and all that kind of stuff. And I never ended up going the traditional route, with college and everything, because I felt
Yeah,
that as somebody who wants to create financial freedom, that rarely comes from working a job or a 9 to 5.
yeah, for sure, exactly.
So, yep, yep, I feel that 100%. So now that you are in crypto, you're in Cardano, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming up. We've got Alonzo coming up in just a few days. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about that, all the cool stuff that's happening with Cardano. What excites you most about what's coming up?
That's kind of a difficult question because right now, something that really excites me is what I'm working on and like the NFT side of things. I'm working on my own NFT project. That's like the forefront of my brain mostly, but also I have this other track running beside that track saying like, oh, smart contracts are here in 1.5 weeks. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see the frameworks get developed for smart contracts and like get all the end users on board, which will probably take a month or two after smart contracts come out. But that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing, like the everyday person, instead of saying, hey, I love Bitcoin, let's say, hey, I love Cardano.
Yeah. I see you got the shirt there too. Represent.
Yeah, yeah. Ada Hado Cardano. Can't really
That's
see it.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. I feel like there's so much happening within this space. I mean, Goguen is going to be one of those huge milestones. I started with Cardano back in 2017. So, just to, yeah, no,
Wow.
it's like
Wow.
just
That's crazy.
all the years of
Man.
just building and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is almost that inflection point, where we're going to finally see all these things happen. And then just the amount of innovation and value that's going to come to Cardano, I think that the ecosystem is going to explode.
Yeah, you've been in here for so long, and I'm just a little baby here in the Cardano space, but I can't imagine what's going through your brain, seeing smart contracts finally come to that's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts, man. It's going to be nuts. But, one thing I really admire about your journey so far is that, you've come into Cardano seeing what it is that we're building with this technology. And then you've just kind of picked up the shovel and you started digging, and it's just like you've really
Yeah.
created something amazing. And it's just super inspiring. So I love that part of your journey because it's like anybody can do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no college degree required. There's no credentials,
Exactly.
right? So it's pretty inspiring. So as far as some of the things that you've been building, I know we've been talking about some things related to your project like Stik Friks,
Mhm.
with CNFTs, with your Stakepool. So let's kind of get into that a little bit. I guess if we could, let's kind of go over your Stakepool journey, because I know you got your Stakepool, right? So Jack
Yeah.
Stakepool. What are some of the things that you've learned going through that process? What would you say were some of the challenges that you've had to overcome, and maybe some advice for people who might want to do something similar?
Yeah, so running my own stake pool, I know a lot of people do outsource that kind of thing, and I thought about it quite heavily, but I took the leap and I went to make my own stake pool. I ran it on testnet, or like the testnet, for I think a few weeks, and that was pretty challenging. But in all honesty, there's so many people in the community that are willing to help you. Like, I didn't know anything, and there's so many people. Discords, NASEC is a really good place. I just got to say that. And also something I've learned while making a stake pool is, how many passionate people there are about the Cardano protocol and everything around it, right? It's just blown my mind. And if anyone was going to start a stake pool or interested in going that route, I would say it is a lot of work to, especially if you don't have any prior knowledge. Luckily, I was computer programming, so I had some knowledge in the area, some kind of basic understandings, but you can definitely attempt to run a stake pool and try it out on test network first. But there's some resources even in my Discord and probably laying around, especially all over the internet, about how to start your own stake pool. If you are really interested in it, you could even DM me on Twitter and I'll give you those resources.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of helpful people. I remember when I was going through the process, one of my really good friends now, Duckpool, big shout out to him. He kind of walked me through it. We were going through the testnet together. There's so many amazing people that I've been fortunate enough to meet along this journey, and it's just incredible. There's so many helpful resources as well. Like you had mentioned, I remember just the Telegram groups, the Discords, all that is super helpful. So, yep,
For
absolutely. Sure. Now, talking about NFTs. So I guess kind of transitioning a little
bit. My favorite.
You've been the NFT king here on the content. So I gotta pick your brain about this a little. So in general, I guess, could you tell us what your thoughts are on NFTs in a general sense, and then also more specifically how it relates to Cardano?
Okay, so from a general sense, I believe, and a lot of people think NFTs are a bubble. And although I think there's some crazy prices out there right now, I think generally it's not a bubble. I think we're going to see NFTs be kind of the new age, luxury goods. That's what I see NFTs as. And then Cardano NFTs, I see them being, the successor to Ethereum NFTs in the sense that they do things a little bit better. And I think a lot of people notice that. Like right now, if you want to mint some, $100 Ethereum NFT, it's going to cost you $100 on top of that in gas. And that's only when less than 1% of the population is using their platform. So I'm not saying Ethereum is bad or anything like that. I'm just saying for the general purpose of NFTs, I think Cardano and even some of the other blockchains are going to do it very in a very more efficient way for the, especially for like the general person who doesn't even have an NFT yet. I guess that's it.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's amazing. I've seen some of these NFTs sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And, I think that's, I guess throughout this cycle, there is a bit of hype and euphoria around it, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
You had touched on that point about how people are seeing that, okay, these guys are making this tons of money on a JPEG on the internet,
Yeah,
right? But I think that the idea behind the NFT is that because it's on blockchain, it's verifiable ownership, and it's also censorship resistant. If anybody tries to take it away from you as well, it's impossible for them to seize that asset. So that I feel like is a big value proposition for NFTs. And if you think about also when it comes to scarcity, like a whole bunch of different aspects related to that as well. So it's going to be exciting to see how the space evolves. But I think in the future, it won't just be artwork. It'll be a whole bunch of different things. We're going to be buying movie tickets on the App Store or on the wallet app on your phone, and it's going to be an NFT. Or event tickets, going to a baseball game, that's going to be an NFT. And then you have that on a digital wallet. You look back and you're like, okay, I went to this baseball game and this player scored X amount of runs. That was just a historic event. So we're going to have things like that. I feel like it's going to be really incredible to see how NFTs really change society.
I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of those, like, I didn't know NFTs could do that moments, like, from real estate to sporting events to like storing history. There's so many possibilities. Yeah, it's incredible. And we're still early too, which is super exciting.
Yeah. All right. So Jack, what the frick? So you have your own Cardano NFT project. What is up with Stik Friks?
Okay, well, Stik Friks is mostly just a fun project. I wanted to make something that was lighthearted, had some fun to it, but also I wanted to make something that I want to work on for the next few years. So the initial Stik Friks concept is just some stick figures there's 40 different hats, 40 different mouths, 40 different ear, or 40 different eyes they can have. So there's every Stik Frik is basically a very unique stick figure. And I really like the avatar-based NFT drop, so I made it around that. But there's 6,969 unique Stik Friks that are going to be minted. And that's pretty much the project. And then in the future, I want to build off of that, maybe do some comic book series or, crazy stuff to return value to the holders. And yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited about making this and seeing what everyone's gonna, collect and get. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the frick.
You've been putting in some hours on it. I've been following you on Twitter, talking about your progress, staying up till like 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah. It's so fun. When I was in the zone, I didn't want to go to sleep. So
yeah, that's the thing, man. When you're passionate about it, I totally feel that.
For sure.
Yeah. So as far as Cardano on a broad sense, so we talked a bit about what you're working on and what excites you most about Cardano coming up. I wanted to go into a little bit more of like the personal side of things on how Cardano has changed your life. I guess from where you were maybe a year ago and where you kind of see yourself in a few years' time. I guess how has being in crypto and how has being in Cardano kind of changed your life?
So it's only been, I believe, 4 months since my Cardano channel's creation. But even a year ago, I was still in my mom's basement. But unfortunately, I was in college, which wasn't going, it was going good in terms of grades, but I wasn't passionate about something like Cardano. And 4 months back, I ran into Cardano, and luckily I had a bunch of YouTube experience, so I could finally talk about something that I was truly passionate about, that I found a lot of passion in, also while making the videos. And now Cardano has enabled me to, pretty much sustain my life very, and also build that, ideal kind of financial future for myself. Because right now I'm stacking ADA. Eventually I'll get out of my mom's basement, but I'm just hanging out here for now. And Cardano has enabled me to be able to do what I like and, make a living off it, while also kind of building that financial freedom and all that.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Cause it's like when we were talking earlier about how, dropping out of school and, going that non-traditional route. I think that this is really a path that I feel like as people who are creating value and building on Cardano, myself as well, kind of in the similar boat where it wasn't so much like, okay, this is the narrative. I've got to follow this set and I got to stay by the structures. But it's really like you can use your imagination, you can follow your passion, you can create, you can build value based on what you enjoy doing. So I really do empathize with that. And I feel like I'm in a very similar situation. It's going to be exciting because we're kind of early adopters still, right? I mean, we're here right now. It's like a whole lot of people still have yet to find out what is Cardano. And I think that once maybe give us like, say 5-10 years, if you think about all the possibilities that are going to be there, I mean, it's just incredible to think about.
Really is.
Yeah. So now I guess if we were to talk a little bit about some of the things that you've seen as obstacles, or maybe not so much as an obstacle, but maybe some room for improvement within Cardano. So talking a bit about the biggest negatives and the biggest positives, I guess if we were to talk about Cardano objectively, from your experience so far, talking about the utility and usability of Cardano, what are some things as somebody who's building and creating value that you found as a challenge? And what are some things that you found as a positive?
In terms of challenges, I think the hardest part about kind of navigating, building on Cardano or working with Cardano or doing anything with Cardano is its strength kind of hinders itself because it's so permissionless and because anyone can do whatever they want. There's so many decisions you have to make, almost decide, what you're going to build, how you're going to do it. Is this following the protocol? Is this in the community's best interest? And all of those things are probably the hardest things to get around when you're building something. And also, discerning greed from value and finding like a mix of when you can get compensated for your work and when you're also providing value. I think that is the biggest barrier, is just to get around, making a living and also giving back to Cardano.
I gotcha. So you're saying benefiting on a personal level while also equally contributing to the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, not that it's like, oh, I'm having such a hard time. I'm just saying over obstacles to overcome. I think that is definitely one of them, that people transitioning from also like a 9-to-5 to working on Cardano and building stuff full time they're going to have to overcome that at some point.
Gotcha. And then, so what would you say might be one of the biggest strengths that would play to that as well?
Biggest strengths, I would say, is also part of the biggest negatives, because you have all these decisions and you can do whatever you want. So at the same time, it's almost like it's a limitless system. And when I can go create YouTube videos, I can make a stake pool, I could do an NFT drop, I can choose which section I want to build in, I could be a developer, I could, there's so many different things you could do, and you don't have to be as involved as other people. You can be, half involved, fully involved, as much as you want. And just the options, right? The feeling of that's the feeling of decentralization to me, is when, no one's telling you what to do, which is also the biggest strength, kind of the biggest weakness in a sense, but I like it.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me. That really does. I would say I completely agree with that being like one of the biggest benefits. I would say probably one of the biggest challenges that I've faced just from being within the ecosystem is some of the usability from like an end user standpoint.
Actually, you're right.
I think that from an end user, as the person who's actually interacting with the blockchain, and that's not to say that the people building it haven't been working incredibly hard, but I think that there is still a lot of room for
Yeah.
improvement. If we think about Daedalus, Yoroi, like some of the main
Yeah.
entry
Yeah.
points, it's like there's just been some big bottlenecks there. But I think that over time, hopefully, once these systems have been improved and we really have a refined user experience, that's where I think that we'll really start to see the full potential.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I didn't even think about user experience, but now that you mention it, there's a lot of times where I have to research and figure things out myself that are pretty basic, and then usually end up relaying that information on my YouTube channel. So that's definitely a drawback at times, but it's being worked on. So hopefully we'll see the very smooth user interface at some point, especially after smart contracts get rolled out.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking forward to that. In terms of milestones, it's going to be exciting. I think pretty much everybody's going to be celebrating.
Yeah.
Are you going to be going to the Cardano Summit?
I'm not going to the Cardano Summit. I believe I might
Ah,
be hosting. I might be hosting. There's a very good chance a kind of web party for the summit.
okay.
In retrospect, for people who can't make it, like me, here in Canada. So yeah,
Nice. Nice. That'll be awesome. Do like a little bit of a watch party.
yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome. So now, in terms of some advice that you could offer, so we talked about our experiences, but let's talk about some of the people who might be watching this video and see Cardano. They want to get started. There's so much information out there on the internet. It can be a little bit intimidating and hard to know where to start. So for any new people coming into Cardano and even Cardano NFTs, could you offer any tips, any advice for new people?
So I think in terms of advice, the biggest piece I can give is to really just go with what you want to do. And I know that's a very broad statement, but when I say that, like, you obviously have to research and look more into each part of the ecosystem. So you have to look into NFTs, you have to look into, maybe Stakepool, development, being a community member, and find your little niche and just run with it, because I think Cardano is going to grow a lot. And if you are very passionate like me about Cardano, there's definitely a place for every person to get involved and do what they want to do in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that one of the resources that helped me the most was actually YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Yeah.
Not only creating content and putting out the information, but also just learning from other people.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. YouTube is my pretty much number one source for information. YouTube and just like articles on the internet in general, from places like from people like Crypto Drip and other things just around the Cardano ecosystem. If you just read and consume enough, you'll probably end up being somewhat an expert compared to the average person in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I feel that 100%. I mean, and especially now, there's so many community-led projects too. There's some websites out there. Ada Pulse is a great one. So
Yeah,
keeping up with Project Catalyst.
that's a great one too.
The IOHK blog also, learn a lot from the IOHK blog.
I've read a lot of their articles and it's helped a ton.
Nice. Yep. So we will definitely be sure to leave some of those links, any helpful resources for any of our viewers down in the description. Now, I've got one fun question for you. This is actually a question that you had asked for yourself. This is one that I gotta know about.
You weren't supposed to ask this question, but okay, yeah.
I mean, I feel like people want to know, especially now because it's out there. Hey, I'm curious. So, Jack, what is I guess you could say, your favorite animal or your favorite spirit animal?
So my favorite animal, and I'm not going to get into the whole reason about this, but I wouldn't want to own this animal, but my favorite animal is probably a pig. You probably didn't expect that, but
No,
if I had to pick, if I had to pick one animal to, have, say as my profile picture, it would definitely be a pig.
Okay. I think we got the Hogsters CNFT's attention.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's awesome. Very interesting. Very interesting. I would have to say my favorite animal. My favorite animal would have to be a bird. I don't know. I would always Like I would just love the feeling of being able to fly, like just
Oh yeah,
something so majestic.
I wouldn't want to be a pig, but I like looking at the cartoon versions of the pigs,
Yeah.
more or less.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, cool, man. I enjoyed the conversation today. Just a bit of a lighthearted convo between two Cardano enthusiasts, two passionate content creators, CNFT artists, all that fun stuff. So, Jack, to close out our conversation today, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Big fan of the YouTube channel. You just keep on rocking, man. Looking forward to Stik Friks and all the cool stuff that you're building. I guess for our audience today, where can people go to find out more about you and to keep up to date with all your projects?
Yeah, just Twitter, YouTube. Those are pretty much the only two I go on, and then a little bit of Discord. But yeah, Twitter and YouTube, definitely the main two places. If you tweet me on Twitter, there's a good chance I'll reply to you. So
very cool. Very cool. I'm going to make sure I leave all those links for everyone down in the description. If you're not already following Jack on Twitter, definitely be sure to drop him a follow. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Lots of awesome Cardano content coming up. So Jack, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate you coming on to speak with us today.
thank you so much for having me.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
See ya.